Hello there and welcome to Android Weekly, your weekly news on everything in the mobile universe. So what's been going on this week? Let's take a look. Starting off, we have the big T-Mobile and Metro PCS merger. So the merger has occurred, and the basic premise of it is that Metro will be changing their CDMA phones to GSM phones within the next 2 to 3 years, I believe. And T-Mobile will of course inherit all of the Metro PCS LTE towers, which was the main reason for the merger. Everyone wanted Metro for their LTE towers, and it was going to come down to T-Mobile and Sprint. Reportedly, a rumor says Sprint still has a bid to put in, but we shall see what happens there. Coming up next, we have how has the Galaxy S3 done with the iPhone 5 launching? Has sales gone down? Actually, an analyst says no. New study actually shows that the Samsung Galaxy S3 has not slowed down at all in terms of sales. Despite the iPhone 5 launching, it hasn't slowed down at all. It shows that not only has it remained constant, but the iPhone 5 didn't have much effect. Probably because it was only able to sell 5 million phones on its opening week, whereas the Galaxy S3 was able to sell 9 million pre-orders before it even came out. So in terms of anticipation, it just hasn't done anything to slow down with the iPhone 5. Galaxy S3 remains the top-selling phone out in the world. New leaks show that a Google Nexus 7 is coming in 32 gigs. Not only that, but someone actually recently got a 32 gig Nexus when they ordered a 16 gig. Now, the rumor behind this is that it's also supposed to be they're phasing out the 16 gig and they're just going to have an 8 and a 32 gig. Now, this might also lead on to the rumor where there's a possible $99 Nexus, although Asus has already denied this. So there's been a lot of rumors this week, and I'm going to try to explain which are rumors and which are facts. But the leak so far is that there will be a 32 gig Nexus. At this point, since we have seen one, or a person has received one, we can say that's pretty much dead on. Alright, Samsung is actually asking for the judge to throw out the case, the verdict entirely for the 1.5 billion, saying that the jury foreman, as well as the evidence that was presented to them, was biased. The evidence that was presented to them was kind of misleading in the way it was presented, in what the CEO of Samsung had said. Basically, the jury was presented as, we should copy Apple, where what the CEO actually said is that Apple has become a standard that we in the mobile industry because of their success. That's what was said, and what was taken is we should copy Apple. So very two different things there. So that was one thing that was said 3 years ago, and since then it's been obviously kind of like that old telephone game where one thing was said and then one thing is completely different. As well as the jury foreman, they say that he had a little bit of, of a vendetta against Seagate, the company that let him go, which since Samsung is the biggest purchaser of Seagate, he was completely against it. So this, this kind of seems like a little bit of fishing to me, but I definitely can see the misleading quote as being wrong, and I do think that that was wrong of the court to allow that. Windows 8 has a launch date, everyone, and that is October 25th is supposed to be the launch date for Windows 8. Now, will we see Windows 8 devices on that day? Maybe, maybe not, but the OS itself will be released that day. So we might not have all the devices able to be that day, but you will have Windows 8 official launch that day, followed by the Windows 8 phones being launched a little bit shortly after. Along with that, the Lumia 920 and 820 are making their way to AT&T's 4G LTE network come November, followed by Sprint as well as Verizon and T-Mobile. They're starting to grow their Lumia batch, so we will see how Windows 8 improves the Windows Phone system, which so far, although it has gone up 1% over the past year, it's only been 1%, so it's not truly a huge growth yet. And with that, TomTom has finally come to Android, and for these maps that are making Apple Maps so great, they are charging, wait for it, $50. So if for some reason you do not want to use Google's free map service that is far more accurate than TomTom or Garmin, you can buy TomTom's app for $50. Oh, and by the way, it's not ready for all devices yet, so if you're eager on it, it should come soon to your device, because I know every one of my viewers is going to totally want to get TomTom, which powers Apple Maps. Yeah. Alright, coming up next, we have Foxconn workers go on strike because of conditions with the iPhone 5. And the funny thing is this was in every newspaper in China, and then the CEO said, oh no, there's no strike, no. They would never do that. I'm just, making sure that Apple doesn't get bad press. Well, that's exactly what he did. He's just trying to cover up so that Apple doesn't get bad press and Apple doesn't come down on Foxconn too hard. However, it is true, and no newspaper retracted their statement saying that there was no strike. So there were and there have been plenty of strikes and riots on Foxconn from workers because of the iPhone 5. So despite what Apple people will have you believe, that those have been around. Alright, now some of the rumor mill. There's 2 rumors that have been huge this week. And I want to let you guys know which ones are real and which ones have the potential to still be real. So there was a lot of rumors on Android 4.2 Key Lime Pie. So there was a lot of rumors, and they turned out to be false. That originally, first just a Google person said, reading the new Google 4.2 rumors, LOL. And then it turned out that that they just weren't true. So, but some of the rumors included various possibilities, which is like an improvement on battery life, a customization center to just make customizing more easier, as well as things like improving Google Now, basically things that are very feasible. So although this was a rumor that proved to be false, who knows, some of those features actually might be available on the next update. We will have to wait and see till the next Nexus devices. Now, the other rumor has been the iPad mini. Now, I want to make this very clear for you guys. If the iPad mini is real, then we should have an announcement this week. If it is not, then we should not. The reason why this is a big deal is because for the iPad mini to come out before the holidays, as Apple would normally do it, so they have a good amount before the holidays, then Apple should announce it next week, or at latest 1 week after that. But either way, we should start to hear that there will be an announcement. So far, we have not heard anything of that sort yet. So we are counting down the days, and if we do hear an announcement, that means that yes, there will be an iPad mini. If not, then it's most likely just all false and all fabricated. Will there be an iPad mini? We'll see. Obviously, there's been a lot of photos of it this week. However, we had a lot of mock-ups of the iPhone 5 last year when it obviously wasn't real. But at the same time, the iPhone 5 this year, when we saw the mock-up, was out months before it actually came out. So, Apple is obviously, since they lost Steve Jobs, has not been really good at keeping leaks under wraps. So we'll see how it goes. But that is what it comes down to. If it's not announced that there will be an announcement this week, the iPad mini is probably false. Moving on, Windows RT for the Microsoft Surface tablet. Now the Microsoft Surface tablet is coming out in Windows 8 and Windows RT. Windows RT is the lower version of the device. If you don't know the differences, feel free to check out my video on what are the differences between Windows 8 and Windows RT. But the big thing that has never been revealed is what will the price be? This is going to be big because the RT models are made to compete with the iPad and the Android tablets. So what will the price be? Well, a new rumor is saying that it will be around the $400 to even $350 price point. I think if Microsoft can pull this off, then Windows RTs will sell, and they will sell very well. Namely, because every Windows RT tablet that's made by Microsoft will come with Microsoft Office, which is a huge favorite, especially among teens. They're most likely, and students, and most likely their biggest purchasers. So this will be very big, and I think it'll sell really well if it's at this price. For $350 for students and for business personnel, this will be really good. HTC has had for a while a phablet in the works, and now recently we just got a snapshot of what the specs might be. So the snapshot so far has been that it will be a 5-inch, so a little bit smaller compared to the other phablets, a 5-inch 1080p display. Now this will be impressive. HTC is not known for having the best resolution out of all phones, and definitely they weren't when they came to tablets. However, this is supposed to be a 1080p 5-inch. This is something that no other manufacturer has been able to do. So if they're able to do this, this will be quite impressive. The other thing is it has the new quad-core Snapdragon processor, which again would be very impressive for them to be the second device to have this processor. If you don't know the Snapdragon S4 Pro quad-core, it actually has doubled pretty much every other processor on the market, so it's one that everyone is anticipating for their own devices. Also, it will have a 12 megapixel in terms of camera and a 1.5 gigs of RAM. Why not 2 gigs like Samsung or LG? This is the one thing that worries me. Also, it will have a 2500 milliamp battery, which is okay for a 5-inch. I would have hoped a little bit more, but it's not the 2100 or 1800 that HTC has come out with beforehand, and it has been dying quickly. So hopefully this battery will do better. But is this one real? Well, we'll see. It's supposed to come out towards Verizon, and but the reason why we don't believe that all of these specs are real is because it was caught in a benchmark for Antutu, and it scored lower than the Exynos processor, which means that it would most likely not be the correct processor that is speculated right now. But we'll have to wait and see. Alright, another rumor mill. This is not guaranteed to be true, of course, but Samsung and Google working on a super high resolution tablet, a 10-inch Nexus tablet to be exact. Now, could this be real? Absolutely, it could be. Will it? Not necessarily. Samsung has had a higher resolution tablet screen available that was way better than the new iPad for about a year now, but yet we have still not seen it on a device. So the big question is, what device are they going to put it in? Or did they have trouble mass producing it? So now, about 9 months later, that they have this screen, maybe they can now mass produce it, and will it be on a new Nexus device? If so, will that new Nexus device also be less expensive compared to the new iPad? It would be pretty impressive to have a $400 or $350 10-inch tablet that has the best resolution to date. Will it be? Well, there's one way to find it out, and that's to wait and see. As I said in my breaking news, Verizon is going to have 2 new Galaxy S3 colors, and that is black and brown. So these 2 new colors will be available shortly, and you can get on the email list on their website to be notified as soon as they're made available to pre-order. Alright, another thing from the rumor mill. There has been LG leaked that is a possible Nexus phone. Now, if you haven't heard the rumor for the Nexus, let me tell you. The rumor that happened before summertime was that there would be 5 Nexus phones from 5 different manufacturers on November 5th, the 5-year anniversary of Android. 5. Yeah, so this was a big thing, and the ones that are supposedly a lock are Samsung. There will be a Nexus 2, it's almost guaranteed at this point. The other one that was the leaked one was the LG Optimus Nexus. It has a nice ring to it. And with LG's recent Optimus G, it's a good chance that they will have a Optimus or Nexus Optimus G or Optimus Nexus G or something of that sort. The nice thing about this Optimus is what some people will like that had liked about the iPhone. I personally don't like a glass backing, but they have a glass backing on this one in the picture. The interesting thing about it is it's not a cheap glass like the iPhone, but it is Gorilla Glass 2. So it pretty much will not break, which is really nice, of course. The big problem with having a glass backing is that you're afraid it'll crack. Now it won't. So it's a pretty interesting concept. The other one is Sony Xperia Nexus. Sony supposedly put their name in for the Nexus, and they're one of the front runners as well. So if these rumors are true, that means we should hit 5 Nexus devices. Now, even if we only get 3 or 4, that's still really impressive, and it'll still help the development to have devices keep updating quicker than some of the other devices because of carriers. So that's the main thing. The process of Android to upgrade is Google updates it first, then the manufacturer, then the carrier. The problem is carriers take their sweet time, and often are the longest ones. Usually Google updates it fairly quickly, manufacturers update it within a month, and you will have a carrier last a lot longer. Hopefully this will change with the Nexus devices. The big rumor is also that Google will be selling them directly so that you can use them on different carriers. Now this will be interesting because obviously there's a GSM version and a CDMA version that they would have to sell, 2 different phones. But the thing is if they pull it off, you can actually get a phone for maybe $350 to $400 without a contract. And that would be amazing, and that's what a lot of us are looking forward to. Again, this is rumors, so not to get your hopes up, but just want you to know on what we're looking at right now when it comes to the Nexus phones, which still we have no concrete evidence. I mean, this is definitely a promising picture that there will definitely be an Optimus from LG Nexus, but it does not look like this would be the only one, especially since this LG Nexus does not register for 4G, which would be very disappointing and very unlike Google. So this would most likely be an entry-level Nexus. That's, again, what we're looking at and what we're seeing, so we'll see if it comes true. Google Wallet. Google Wallet had a big leak this past week, and it's a very, very interesting leak. So the leak that happened was that Google Wallet has a feature in it, in the coding, that suggests that you will be able to, with the next update, transfer money to another Google Wallet device. So you could actually send money from one phone to your friend's phone if you owe them 20 bucks. And this is a pretty cool concept, because if you owe your friend money, you're like, oh, here, just let me send it from my credit card, or let me send it from my bank account. That is really cool, and it's really different. So I for one would be really great with this. I mean, this would be awesome, like if you ever owe your friend money or anything like that, or I mean, just to be able to transfer, it's pretty cool. The other thing is that you can have a kind of PayPal style money stored. So you can actually have like money stored in your account, kind of like a checking account basically for Google Wallet, and just store money in there, say if you need to pay off friends, or if you need to move something quickly to a credit card, or move something quickly to buy, to use cash and transfer it into a Google Wallet so you can pay for an app. So this is a pretty cool concept. Again, no finalization, it was just found in the coding for the software. But it would, I think, be very interesting to have that kind of update, and would definitely expand what Google Wallet can do. Also, finally, Jelly Bean just got its first big update, and that is 4.1.2. Now, what did this update bring? Well, it's only available currently for the Nexus 7 and the Galaxy Nexus. but what it brings is landscape mode. So right now we can only do this with launchers, but basically you can actually view your home page in landscape mode now, and every other home page. So this is a pretty cool concept. We have seen it in non-launchers like the Nova launcher, but it's pretty interesting to have that ability. And it looks pretty cool. I like the way it looks. It's very different. So hopefully, I mean, you see the picture there. Do you like it? Do you not like it? Do you think it's unnecessary? Please let me know. And that is the news for the week, guys. So what rumors are you interested in? What features did you like the most? Please let me know and tell me which thing are you most excited for. Personally, for me, I'm excited for the Nexus devices. I'm really curious to see what they're going to do with it and how far they can go. So, let me know what yours are. This has been RICKY, the Android Guy.